Hey everybody, today's video is going to be about screen toning basics, and this is all about toning by hand. I mean traditional toning, not digital toning. I'm actually more comfortable with toning by hand than digitally, and besides, everybody uses different types of software and I only use Deleter Comic Works. I mean, I've tried using Photoshop and what's it called, Manga Studio, but I'm more comfortable with Comic Works and not everybody has that. So anyway, I'm going to caution you first, because it is toning by hand. You will be using a knife, so if you're under the age of 17, I would like you to have parental supervision. And when I first started toning, I cut myself a lot. I'm not even joking, because I had no idea what I was doing. So you're going to have to be really careful about using knives, okay? So, first things first, I mean, tools you'll need. I only used 3 things today, and that was obviously the knife. I use a retractable X-Acto knife because it's a really small blade, and it's just easier for me to use than regular X-Acto knives. I don't like using utility knives to cut out tone. I think it's because it's too big, and I use the utility knife for scraping tone. Anyway, also, of course, you're going to need your tones. I actually didn't use this tone, but I put away all the tones I used already, so yeah. And of course, an inked drawing, and it has to be inked and no pencil lines visible, because, oh look at that, well it's okay because this wasn't the drawing I used anyway. Because if you tone over it, it's going to show up, your pencil I mean, so yeah. So I toned this drawing. This is what I did. If you have any questions, and please let me know, and hopefully you guys understand my video, because truthfully I had a hard time doing this video. I had no idea where to start, because when I tone, I just tone everything. I don't do just one layer of tone, and that's what I'm showing you, how to do just one layer of tone. So if you have any questions, like I said, please let me know, and hopefully I can answer. I drew some basic shapes with a little sun in the upper left corner to show the light source, whatever it's called. And I showed basic shapes because it's easier to see how to tone on basic shapes. So anyway, what I wrote down here is the tone number, what tone I'm using. I mean, it's SE2 and has a 27.5 line count with a 20% density. And this is what the tone looks like. It's like one of the full sheets, not the Deleter Junior. Oh, by the way, I'm using Deleter. Can you see it? I hope you can, because there it goes. I'm surprised. Isn't it dizzying just staring at the dots? Anyway. So the first thing you do, okay, most of the tones are see-through, most of them. If it's like a patterned one with black, completely black, or like it's a really dark gradient, those are really hard to see, and you probably need a light box for those. Anyways, so the first thing you do is you place your tone with the backing facing down over the drawing you're going to, the inked drawing always has to be inked. Over the ink drawing. Anyway, the angles will be in a 45-degree angle, and this is what the 45-degree angle is. I don't know if you can see, but that's basically at an angle, not straight up and down, or not like, no, I have to do whatever, but I think you get it. Most of the time the angles are at a 45-degree angle, and when you cut the tone, make sure you don't cut all the way through. Just make sure you cut just the first layer, not even through the backing of this. So you probably have to practice doing that. And when you cut the tone, it has to be a little larger, a little larger than the actual drawing. See, I didn't cut through the paper. I don't know if you can even. So you have to practice to not cut through your drawing. 90-degree angle, it's going to look like this. I don't know if you can see that. Is that 90 degree? Yeah, that's 90 degree. And if it's 45 degree, it's like at an angle like this. It just changes the way. I think it'll be easier to see when I do it on the ugly looking cube. So let me zoom in. Oops, wrong way. I'll kind of smooth it down a bit. And then, excuse me, I had a text message. Yes, it's one up. But anyway, and then is when you go over the actual line. And like I said, be careful with cutting your paper. It's kind of hard to do this with the camera right in my face. And the paper is like a foot away. But that's the only way I can film this. I think that should be right. And I usually not even rub the outside, just wherever you toned, usually. You rub it down a bit, not a lot. So I usually use the knife to lift up the tone. Or if you want it to do the other way, you kind of jimmy it under the tone. Like that. So anyway. And since I don't feel like going to get a spoon or my tone hair, I'm just going to go like that to properly adhere it. So I know it's not going to fall off. As you can see, I kind of messed up right here, but you can go over it with ink. So it's fine. I'm just going to... And as for the scrap, I usually put it back on the sheet because you don't want to waste your tones, but I don't feel like I'll just leave it there. So if you want to cut out a smaller area from this this tone, you know, like it's like a marble, you know, and the sun is shining, so there should be like a light shiny thingy right here. Then you can just go over it again. Hopefully that's round enough. I can't really tell. And then just, like I said, use the knife, the tip of the knife, and lift it up. Alright, I showed 3 shapes, but I messed up on the second one because I forgot to zoom. So I'm going to do this one. Okay, so the first thing you do is, like I said before, you cut a bigger size of the tone to fit your finger toning. And I could just like leave it completely toned, but I wanted to show what it looks like with different angles. So I'm just going to, oops, I didn't move that up. I didn't even realize. There we go. I wanted to show you what it looks like with different angles. Alright, so after you apply the tone, you smooth it down so it doesn't like fall off. And then you cut precisely where the lines are. Hopefully you can, because I just messed up right there. It is so hot in here. I'm in a different room. I'm in the dining room because I have more room to on a table. My desk has absolutely no room. Okay. And then you just rub it down a bit. And then with the same tone, change the angle. So you don't need to use a different tone. As you can see right here, it became a moire pattern. And that's not what you want to do unless, like I said in the introduction, unless that's how you want to leave it as. I mean, you did it on purpose. Okay, move it over. It does take time to do tones. There we go, finally, 5 years later. Rub it down and then cut precisely, and then take off the excess tone. And there you go. So that's how you tone basically